I just came back from Canada on Wednesday, right? And I'm right here in Nigeria right now, so I'm making this video, and it was an amazing experience. And of course, I did the visa application myself as well, like I always do for all my visas, right? And we've actually helped a lot of persons. A couple of persons do Canada visa application, and till now, we have not lost any application, right? So I'm going to be looking at a couple of refusal letters. Let's see the reasons why those visas was actually refused, right? And I will tell you how to actually remedy it, because I'm pretty sure that some of the reasons given here was actually the reason why your own visa was actually refused, right? So if the reasons that your visa was refused is actually mentioned right here, let me know in the comment section as well. Now, if yours is different, let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to be addressing it. So let's move forward. First things first, they said, I'm not satisfied. So in this refusal letter given to this particular client that came to us, it says, I'm not satisfied that you will leave Canada at the end of your stay. Required by paragraph 179B of the IRO, PRO, whatever. I'm refusing your application because you have not established that you will leave Canada based on the following factors, right? So for every visit visa application, I always say it in my videos, they want to believe that you are going to want to be convinced that you're going to leave their country at the end of your visit, because it's a temporary visit. So you should come and go. And that's one thing that actually helped me, because I've gotten a lot of visas, and the first time I went to the UK, I stayed for like 2 weeks, right? First time I went to South Korea, I stayed for like 10 days. South Africa, 10 days, like that. Do you get what I mean? So they know that this person is not interested in staying in our country. The person just wants to just come on visit and leave. So I have a history of actually coming in and going, right? So that's me. And you should actually try and build that history for yourself as well, if you're actually interested in traveling. For this client, they says, based on following factors, your immigration status outside your country of nationality, right? So there's a client we had from Ghana. They told that client explicitly, you do not have a history of leaving your country and coming back. Travel history. You don't have any history of leaving your country and coming back. So that's a reason for refusal. So they don't believe that if you come now, that you are going to go back to your home country, right? So that's one. This client, they said the purpose of your visit to Canada is not consistent with a temporary stay, given the details you are provided in your application. All right, so they're going to make a decision based on what you have told them in your visa application. So they're saying that based on what this client have told them, that the reason why he's actually coming to visit is not consistent with a temporary stay. Now, I'm not sure what the client told them, again, because I can't even remember the client that we had this consulting with, but of course you said something that is not consistent. So for visiting visa, there are certain things that you are not allowed to do with a visiting visa, including working, taking advantage of public funds, all of those things, right? So if you say that the purpose why you are visiting, you want to do one of those things that are not consistent with visit visa, you're going to get a refusal. As a matter of fact, you should be applying for a different category of visa. So that is why it's important to actually speak to a professional, like me, for instance, right? You can book a consultation to talk to me by clicking on the first link in my description, or just go to www.noagenttravelguide.com and actually book a consulting session with me, right? So when you talk to me, I will actually hear what your purpose is and guide you on how to actually approach it, so that you don't get this kind of reasons, right? So that's it. Now, this particular client, they said your current employment situation does not show that you are financially established in your country of residence. Economic ties. I can't stress this enough. I talked about this in my UK visa application, where I talked about refusal reasons, right? Economic ties is very important, right? It shows that you actually have a job, you're making money, So the probability of you becoming an illegal resident in Canada is actually very slim, right? So once you cannot prove all of these things, you're most likely going to get a refusal, yeah? Your assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel. Now, it says that you don't have money to fund your trip. And this is a mistake I see a lot of times, for people make. A client came to us. He applied to visit Canada. On the visa application form, they told him that, they asked him and said, how much are you planning to bring to Canada? He said it's 15,000 Canadian dollars. So that's around 16 million naira or so. So I asked this client, I said, how much do you have in your account, in your bank balance when you apply for this visa? He said he had 18 million naira. How can you have 18 million naira and you're planning to spend 17 million naira for a 10-day trip to Canada? Do you understand? It makes no sense. You get, it makes no sense. So of course I pointed this out to him and said this is the mistake. So if he had said that you were spending 5,000 pounds, 5,000 Canadian dollars on your trip, would have made sense. that would have been like maybe 30% or less of your entire bank balance. When I applied for my Canadian visa, I actually wrote 15,000 Canadian dollars in my form, but of course I had a lot more than that money in my bank balance at that particular point in time. When I actually did that visa application. So this another client, they said that I'm not satisfied that you leave Canada at the end of your stay required by this blah blah blah. So your assets and financial situation are insufficient. The same reason they gave to the other client, right? Now this one, it also said I'm not satisfied that you have legitimate business purpose in Canada, right? So what happened to this client? She applied to attend a conference in Canada, right? So and she has not been to any conference anywhere else, right? So these first world countries are actually very crazy. They expect you to have traveled to, especially when you are coming to something that you can actually do without. So for tourism, you can do without it. This conference is not life or death. It's not it do not help you advance your career or all of those things. So it is something that you can actually do without. So I encourage people definitely and do those things in other countries, right? Before you apply for these first world countries, something like the US, Canada, European Union, the UK, right? Australia, New Zealand. They like you to have gone to all of those other places and done these things before you apply to actually visit their country for some weird reasons. There's a client that came to us and I told the client, I said it before, we don't have a history of leaving your country and coming back, right? That's part of the reason. There's another one that I saw the refusal letter. They told him that that he put money in his account to beef up his account because of this visa, right? So towards the end of his application, 50 million came into his account. And when I asked him, he said he borrowed it from loan people to beef their account for the visa. Of course, they flagged that and they refused him. So I said, go and build travel history and increase your finances, right? Naturally. Then of course you can apply over the next 6 months to 8 months, I think, something like that, right? He's working on that right now, and he's almost there, right? So on my screen right now is another refusal letter that was gotten for another client, right? He applied for a study visa to Canada, and they said here, they refused him because they said that the study plan does not appear reasonable given the applicant's employment and education history, right? So this guy works in a different field. His education is a different field. He wants to do masters in a different field in Canada, right? So they refused him on that grounds for some weird reason, right? So they said the client's previous studies were in an unrelated field. Let's say, for instance, he read biology. Now he wants to do a master's in music, but he works in a bank. Do you understand? So there's no relationship at all. So if he was doing a master's in maybe like an MBA, it's a business, so it's understandable, or accounting because he works in a bank, you can actually justify that. In the cover letter, we can actually justify that and make that happen. The client has previous studies at a higher academic level, right? His university study level than the proposed studies in Canada. He studied English language or international relations in his BSc, right? And right now he's trying to do a public health course in Jiget, right? So of course he was refused because of that. So I actually have a list of 10 different refusal reasons, right, which I'm actually going to be discussing in a different video if you guys are interested. So in that video, I'll actually go through all the refusal reasons for Canada visa application step by step and guide you guys on how to actually mitigate it, because the whole idea of visa application is that when you are doing these things, right, especially when we are doing it for clients, because I already know what the possible refusal reasons are, I can actually mitigate it in the application. So I'm actually fighting it. I'm actually fighting it in the application. So I know that they are going to talk about your history. I tell you to get history. I know that they're going to talk about as a matter of fact, there's this celebrity that reached out to us, right? If I mention her name, most of you guys we know her. She's a big celebrity actress. It has movies everywhere, right? She did a visa application for Canada and she was refused, right? When I saw the refusal letter, I was like, who did this application for you? She said it was an agent. I'm like, this agent has no sense, right? Because the same reason. She had about 9 million naira in her account. How much are you going to be spending on this trip? She wrote about, the agent wrote 8,000 Canadian dollars, which is around 9 million. Right, 8-point-something million naira ish, right? So of course she cannot afford that trip, and they also mentioned the fact that they're not sure she will return. Now this is somebody that have movies on Netflix. She has a very big followership on social media, right? She earns money from it. She has contract with employment contract with different organizations, African Magic, these big YouTube channels, whatever. So those contracts are actually reasons why she's going to come back to her home country. Establish the fact that you're an actress. You have movies on Netflix. Give them the link to your movies, or the name for them to actually watch your movie, and verify this. And these are social currency, hard social currency that you can actually use for the application, right? And of course, we're actually doing this reapplication for her. So these are some of the things that you pay attention to and how to actually mitigate it in your application. So that is why I actually talk to clients first, right? Because when you come to my client and say, Gerald, I'm interested, or how do I do this, or help me review this, I am not going to help you do that, right? Unless you watch my videos, which are very explicit and actually figure it out. But if you want to talk to me personally, you must book a consulting session. For that way, I know people that are serious and people that actually want to waste our time. So once you book the consulting session, I will talk to you and help you figure out your circumstances. I will ask you questions like, what's your current bank balance right now? How much are you going to be spending on your trip? Because I know what they are looking out for. So I'm asking you this question to understand if you are actually qualified for that visa, so that you don't go and throw away your money, right? Or waste your time, as the case may be. So I help you figure these things out so that when you're doing the application, the chances of you getting your visa approved are actually very high. And how you can book this consulting session is to click on the first link in my notification right now. And once you click on it, it's going to take you straight to noagenttravelguide.com. And of course, you can actually book a consulting session. And as soon as you're done with the booking, you're going to be redirected to my WhatsApp automatically, right? And my assistant will book a time and date with you. So I can actually jump on a call with you and actually help you figure out how to actually proceed with your personal visa application. So if that's something that you want to do, go ahead and book a consulting session with me right now. And if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comment section, as I'm going to be there to answer all of your questions, guys. Or you can just go ahead and say, thank you, Gerald, for this video on Canada visa application, something like that. I'm going to be liking and possibly responding to that comment as well. So if you want to do your visa application yourself for Canada, this video showing up right here will show you guys exactly how to get it done by yourself.